The evening continues. We have our next session for the day, which will start in a bit from now. The topic for the discussion is growing the talent pool as to how OTT is breaking through stereotypes and monopolies. We all talk about how there's monopoly in the industries, how we have stereotype topics, stereotype subjects, but yes, OTT is breaking it all. And our panelists were the same, like I said, actors, Karanveer Bora, Anupriya Goenka, Shiv Pandit, Sushant Digwikar, and also Shagun Sharma, Branding and Communications Head, Teamology PR.
So guys, I think we'll quickly start. Yeah. So thank you so much for making it, and thank you for coming. I think what we are discussing today is there's a perception that there's monopoly about actors, about technicians, across platforms, across likability of producers. What do you guys think that has the time arrived where the whole perception of having a monopoly of casting or at various levels is breaking now? And is OTT coming to a great leveler to say maybe feature films or the way the industry functions? So I think that's the first question we should start with, and then of course we'll have follow-up on that. Shiv, do you want to start?
Hello. Hi, thank you so much for having me here to share my thoughts. I think I heard a couple of the other conversations here earlier this evening, and I'd like to actually second what I've heard earlier this evening, which is that opportunities have increased for a lot of people which had been denied to them earlier. Possibly due to lack of access or lack of network or lack of recognition. And today you've got technicians, you've got new actors, you've got new directors, new producers in the market. So I think that's a wonderful, that's great. And I think all three of us sitting here have been, I think, part of the industry where access was difficult. You know, we've all worked our way up the ranks. I think Karanveer for sure has been around. I see the problem is if I say he's been around for a very long time, he's going to punch me outside. And so yeah. So I think I have seen, in fact, like the two of them as well, I've seen a lot of changes happen, and I think it's all happened for the better. I think advancements in our industry are always welcome, and I'm very happy to be part of the industry today where we are churning out excellent content on digital, we're churning out some fantastic writers, great actors, and the audience is just, the demand from the audience is warranted, because I think for the longest time we were feeding them substandard material, and I think OTT has brought a complete halt to that. I think अगर आपका शो में वो बात नहीं है, भले वो परफॉर्मेंस रिलेटेड बात हो या स्क्रिप्ट लेवल पे हो या प्रोडक्शन वैल्यू में हो, आई थिंक वो साफ कहते हैं हिंदी में दूध का दूध पानी का पानी हो जाता है व्हेन इट कम्स टू अ डिजिटल शो. आई थिंक I'll let them add to it as well.
I completely agree with what Shiv said right now, that OTT has brought about a huge change. It has been a leveler of sorts, because you see new faces doing primary lead roles every day. There is no dearth of work anymore, and of good work, the kind of work all sorts of technicians, artists, directors, filmmakers, you know, production people, everybody in the game were looking for the kind of work that they wanted to do. They wanted to push the envelope, set newer boundaries for themselves, and not get stuck in a certain sort of a genre or certain way of making content. OTT has definitely brought that, you know, those many opportunities to everybody. Whether it's really broken the whole monopolistic space completely, I don't know whether I can say yes to that just yet. Even though there are fresher faces all the time, and a lot of content is being made, and people are bringing in very experimental sort of content at the same time. The star system is existent even today, so to say. And a certain amount of star value is still needed. Now, whether one can do away with it completely or not, just because, I think that can only happen when your content is that strong, that novel, and when you're really willing to take chances and you're very sure of what you're making and you wouldn't want to compromise on that irrespective of any sort of a pedigree, you know. But we are definitely on that path, having said that. And all of us are really excited of where Indian cinema, Indian entertainment is headed. I think it will only get better and better.
So OTT just didn't break the monopoly of actors or technicians. In a very sadistic way, it also broke the monopoly of theater chain owners. Because if you remember when the pandemic happened, the theaters they were shut down and they were going through, and most of the producers, they preferred putting their movies on OTT because audience wanted it and they had no choice. They waited for a month, 2 months. Some of them waited for a long time, like 83 waited for a long time. But there were most of the other producers, they said, we're going OTT. And that really hit the theater chain owners. And the theater chain owners have a certain, they're like the dons, okay? They like rule the chain. They decide, you know, whether what shows are going to be given to you or what's going to happen to you. So the audience would get, you know, they would have to go to the theaters to see what was shown to them. But OTT has opened the Pandora's box, and in a way really good because it has shaken the industry. It was required. This kind of change was required. We all were wondering that what that change would be, but this pandemic happened and it, you know, पैरों तले ज़मीन निकल गई, वो ज़रूरी था because now the correction will happen.
So firstly, I believe OTT is like you going on a blind date and you suddenly realize that the person sitting in front of you exactly knows what you like and what you want on your table. So that is what OTT is doing these days. They know what you want, what type of content you want to consume, at what time do you want to consume, at what are your preferences. So it's like if you're a family of 5, you have different profiles on Netflix or on Amazon Prime. They exactly know what device are you browsing from, what are your time preferences, like what type of content you are consuming. So I think it's about the technology, it's about the AI, it's about the algorithm that's driving these factors and the kind of accessibility that are we getting into, the type of relatability and the diversity of the content that we have been witnessing these days in different OTT platforms is like commendable. And it is going to, I think it's going to evolve with time. And as everyone has mentioned, they have mentioned earlier as well. So I also believe that like you asked the question about breaking the stereotypes and monopoly. So OTT has in a way changed the definition of stardom and heroes and heroines. In a way like now you might have seen that the hero in the first episode of the web series is no more the hero in the second episode or the second season of the web series. So that's how OTT is in a way changing the definition of stardom also. People are getting a lot of opportunities, new actors, new lead roles are getting into like, and they are becoming like public figures these days. And nobody ever imagined that a person belonging from a small town or village like could have ever been come to a platform where everybody, like from people, even the international audience is interested in watching them. And one more factor that I would like to add is whenever you are going to watch a movie, you have a different set of expectation or anticipation. So OTT has changed that. So there's no more pressure going on that the movie has to perform good in first 3 days. So that a set parameter has changed. The web series or the movies that were not so famous in 2017 or maybe in 2000s, they're getting popular in 2022. Just because you have sub-genres, you have so much of content to consume that you're sitting and you're feeling like, okay, today I am interested in watching a horror movie, you will go for that. If you feel like, okay, today I want to see something sci-fi, I don't want to see rom-com, so you can explore those opportunities as well. So yeah, I believe it has in a way changed the overall thought process of how content was consumed back then, and it's evolving with time.
Superb. Thank you so much, guys, for really putting your personalized insights to what your thoughts are on particularly breaking the perception of being having a monopoly of particularly casting your favorite actors or your favorite technicians. Actually, taking from there, like you said, that the face of changing a face of being a star or a super celebrity, and nowadays people have also understood a big difference between a star and an actor. There is a difference. There was a time where a star and an actor was as seen as one. You know, taking from there, do you guys really feel that storytelling and performances have become the real heroes because a lot of new people have got that chance and people are not watching content with a perception of saying, oh, I am going to watch a show where we have Ajay Devgan or I'm going to watch a show where we have a Ranveer Singh versus, oh, this performance is so good, this storytelling is so good. So that takes the first step and everything else takes a co-pilot or a backseat in that space. Do you really feel that is applied or is in process of application?
You know, content was always the king, will always be the king, and there is no change to it. It's just that the star system made content secondary. Because when the stars would come in, they would say that, what am I doing in that? Kahani to ye, lekin isme main kya kar raha hu, mera kya role hai? So, kahani would take a back seat. Thankfully to OTT, that is not there anymore. This is exactly what the story is. You have to perform like that. Like even in down south, in Malayalam especially, out there, in all the languages, I think Malayalam cinema, they give so much of importance to just the writers. That's why one of the most beautiful stories and movies or shows come from Malayalam cinema. Because out there, it is the writer's vision. A director does not write. A director will execute the writer's vision. And then the actor will act what the director is going to execute by putting his. So imagine what a concept is that we are executing a writer's vision. Whereas in most of cinema, you see that, okay, मैं जैसा लग रहा हूँ, मैं जैसा स्टार हूँ, मेरी एंट्री ऐसी होनी चाहिए, इसमें मैं ऐसे आऊँगा तो अच्छा रहेगा. अच्छा अगर हम इसको थोड़ा ऐसे change कर लेंगे, you know, so that's what happens. So if we stick to the grassroots level, that let the writers write because it's their vision. If you like it, do it. If you don't like it, don't do it. But let the writers, you know, respect their integrity. That's what I always feel.
Yeah, I think I don't agree completely that now today, you know, it's just about watching good acting. I think there's a space has been made for people who earlier were finding it difficult to get opportunities to act. I think I still would love to see, like, sometimes when I see some heroes who I've grown up seeing, and I see that they're doing something, I get excited because as a human being, glitz, glamour, you know, aspiration, these qualities always, you know, get you excited. So if I see, for example, like I'm a huge Anil Kapoor fan. Now, if I see Anil Kapoor doing something, I'll immediately get excited because I know. But and the best part is, apart from being a huge star, he's a fantastic actor. So I know that it's not just about you know, seeing Anil Kapoor, the star, doing something. He's also a fantastic actor. And I think OTT, what it's done is that I think we should not lose the star system. Why should we? Because, you know, there are certain projects which need a certain budget. And because of that budget, they need a certain amount of viewership or eyeballs or box office numbers, you know, to sort of justify the budget. And I think, it should go hand in hand, that you should have people, and eventually it's about working your way up. I don't know anyone who comes...
You know what, on that point, before you move ahead, I think the star system should break. You know who should be the star? The director should be the star. The project should be the star. The actor should not be the star. If you see Hollywood also, the actors are not stars. It is the director is the star, the script is the star. I agree with the star concept. If the actor becomes a star, then you've lost the plot. No doubt, we've all grown up watching, like our Salman Khans and Shah Rukh Khans, and we loved them. We loved that entry and all. But we've evolved and we are evolving, and that is why I feel that stars को इतनी तवज्जो, मतलब actors को इतनी तवज्जो मत दो कि उनको आप इतना बड़ा बना दो कि आप main plot ही भूल जाओ. That's what I feel, because that's where it takes it away, and that's what we've been suffering in Bollywood. And really, right now at this point, we don't know where we are heading. The correction is happening. It'll take time to correct ourselves. It's because we are still stuck that now the stars cannot do a certain kind of role because they're stuck in that stardom. Whereas an actor like an Anil Kapoor, he'll still remember what the kind of movies. You said it correctly.
I think earlier on within our industry and maybe other industries as well, there was a lot of just by the fact that you were related to somebody, you were born into a certain family, you were understood to be a star. I think what's happening, and I think a classic example of that is the South Korean industry. They had this fantastic show which came out on Netflix, Squid Game. So, the thing is, some of the actors in that show are huge South Korean stars, but they were, I'm sure, unknown to a lot of people here in India. Now, today, if the Squid Game cast comes to India, I know that a lot of people will be very excited to see, oh, the Squid Game. So they've created a certain star value amongst themselves due to the content, due to their work. So I think OTT in that way has, like tomorrow, if the two of them do a fantastic project, I would say their appreciation value, their star value amongst the audience will go up because of their work, not because of, arriving in a certain car or being married to, or being born into a certain family. So I think that content is helping you create your own stardom in a way because of your performances, because of your work, which I think is very important. I think that's the way it should be.
I was just talking to Anupriya when she came in. We've all seen, all of us have done good work, but a show that she did, Asur, it freaking blew my mind off because the story was so awesome. The content was so out of the stadium that every character didn't have, they were not stars they were actually normal, बोलते ना एक normal लोग थे वो, और normal लोग की तरह act कर रहे थे, but the content became the star, और वो असुर की बात करते रहे. It's beautiful. That's what I feel, that's who the star should be.
I would also like to add. So I believe that screen is no more the factor, the relatable content is. So be it TV or be it OTT, people are no longer interested in screen, like कि ये TV पे देखना है या OTT पे देखना है. What they are interested in is relatable content. So 74% of people, they subscribe to OTT channels just because they are interested in a particular web series. It can be anything. It can be Mirzapur, it can be Gangs of Wasseypur. So 74, it's a study. So 74% of people are interested to watch a particular web series due to which they are subscribing. So these days, I believe that there has always been an audience, but the mainstream television was not able to cater to those audience. But just because OTT has been introduced, all that audience, all that regional audience that like the OTT is catering to, it has led to the kind of popularization of OTT so much. So that's the factor that is bridging the gap between producing content and producing relatable content. So these both things are very different from each other. So this is what I believe.
Yeah, so I think we'll move on to the third question, and I really would like to add to this before we move on to the third one is, like Karan rightly said, that we are in a correction phase, whether it's cinema, whether it's OTT, whether it's television for that matter, We've been used to watching typical kind of soap operas and typical kind of reality shows, and there is nothing wrong about it. But till the time I don't try a new cuisine, I will never acquire a new taste or adapt a new taste. So OTT is playing that role. It's given us more than dal chawal. There's nothing wrong in dal chawal. But I think that's where the credit goes in that space, whether it's technicians, whether it's people, writer, actors. Uh, I would like to just sum this up with the last question, is that when we are talking about new faces, when we are talking about new talent, what are those do's and don'ts which you guys would like to add or tell the audience here, which will help them take over a creative fatigue or to level up the game or to stay in today's time, stay present in that space, whether it's a writer, whether it's an actor, whether it's a technician who's new, maybe doesn't have so much experience per se, but still is wanting to really break through, like a lot of us came into the industry and had that urge and that fire to कुछ करना है, कुछ करके दिखाना है यार, एंड मैं अच्छा लिखता हूँ, मैं अच्छा डायरेक्ट कर सकता हूँ, मैं अच्छा एक्ट कर सकता हूँ. तो क्या वो डूज एंड डोंट्स आपको लगता है ध्यान में रखने चाहिए किसी भी एक नए टैलेंट को या एस्पायरिंग टैलेंट को जिससे वो ब्रेक थ्रू मिल सके?
So, नए talent, aspiring talent को I would, from my side, I would only suggest that knowing why you genuinely started to do something that you set out to do, that's very important. Where knowing your intention and knowing your main reason of doing it, whether it was for enjoying your craft, whether it was for money, for fame, and all reasons are correct. There's nothing wrong. And the various, you might want all three, but what was the most important one of all? That becomes the guiding force of your path, I believe. That's something I have strongly always reminded myself of. For instance, I came from a business space and then started doing corporate work, and then I started to act. So I'd seen three very different industries, and I knew that I can survive. So survival was not my main reason of doing acting. It was always for being able to enjoy what I do on a regular day basis, enjoying the craft behind it, and always feeling that I learn something through each project, through the people I work with, and people that I collaborate with. And acting or any creative field, I believe, is, from my experience, I can say, is the biggest learning that one can get in many ways. Not just because you are in an artistic space, it's also because it's always more than often a team effort. It's always, you are the instrument that you play with all the time. Your mind, your faculties have to be on point. And it is very difficult because it can get emotionally taxing, it can get mentally very exhausting, and physically it is also very, it asks for a lot of you. So it's very important to, always be aware of your main reasons, and nothing substitutes for hard work, nothing substitutes for talent. So as long as you're honing your skills, as long as you know that you have it to, go on and on and on and not give up, I believe things happen. They may take time. There would be hurdles. After some successes, one also finds hurdles. Then there would be another success, and that, that path keeps going on. It's not as if once you've arrived, you've arrived. It just looks like that. At every stage, there are challenges. At every particular stage, there is a certain amount of growth that happens. So, yeah, I would say just keep going on and keep working on yourself. That's one thing that I would like to say.
मेरा ना एक ही फंडा है which I think सिर्फ एक्टर्स को अप्लाई नहीं होता है, ये कम्युनिकेशन से इनको भी अप्लाई होता है, आप किसी और फील्ड से आपको भी अप्लाई होता है, जो यहाँ पर बैठे हैं उनके को भी अप्लाई होता है कि जब आपके पास, देखो जब काम होता है तो काम चल रहा होता है, you're focused on the work, लेकिन जब काम नहीं होता है तो अपने ऊपर काम करो. For actors, जैसे इन्होंने कहा कि I've been here for a long time, I've been here for 22 years. I still have the fire. I still freaking want to do.
Which, I just want to say, I have huge respect for, I just want to, sorry.
No, no, please.
You know, you've been talking about stars, this, that, all that. Do you know the most important thing in this industry, which I think people oftentimes forget, is to be a working actor. There are a lot of people who are actors who are just walking around aimlessly, but to be a relevant and a working actor, and say in his case for 22 years, I think that's a huge, it's commendable beyond anything. Because it's not easy to constant, in our industry which has so many ups and downs in terms of money, like she rightly said, she hit the nail on the head in terms of, you know, you need to have stability financially, you need to know, you need to have mental stability, emotional stability, so you need to have those verticals checked when you come to this, and she obviously had prior experience, she had been in a different industry as a business person and stuff like that, so she knew it was not about survival because she already figured that aspect out, but a lot of people just come to this city not figuring that aspect out, and that's when the shit hits the fan, sorry for my language, but they need to figure that out because it's a very ruthless city. So you need to be relevant, you need to work like he has been doing, and you need to have all those check marks ticked.
और insecurities सब में होंगी और होनी भी चाहिए because तभी आप जाकर आगे कुछ कर पाओगे, वो insecurities नहीं होगी, लेकिन क्या होता है उन insecurities को आप या उसमें डूब जाओ and get into shit, smoking, drinking, drugs, or a different lifestyle, and not focus on, as you said correctly, or as you also said, what you came here for. So, just as an example, to all those people who are not actors but different jobs, कि आप काम छोड़ दोगे या काम से निकाले जाओगे, तो आपके पास बीच में वो एक period रहता है, तो अपने skills बढ़ाओ, do some course online. I still take workshops, मैं theatre workshops, I participate. Every year at least एक महीने के लिए मैं करता रहता हूँ because I know it just improve me even more. The hunger for learning should always be there. This is what I would say to all those people who are not just actors but just everybody. Whenever you don't have work, work on yourself. That's the most important.
And one small thing I'll just add because this happened to me recently. Earlier when I used to go for auditions, it was just this unsaid thing in my head because actually वो casting directors भी जो थे ना at that time, like I was very, I've been exposed to very different cinemas. I mean, I've watched lots of films like all of us. So I was very like trying to be true to the character earlier on. But I realized many years ago, there was always a certain need for a glossy kind of a look in an audition. So when you go for an audition, you need to be slightly glossy. And what I mean by that is you need to be presentable in a sense that even if the character is of a lower middle class, there was something very glossy about how you need to have an appearance. And this happened to me recently when I went to a casting director and I was looking a little glossier than I should have for the character. And the casting director said, no, I don't want this, please. So the stories have become so real and the casting has really become on point and very real. So to anyone out there who's looking to be an actor, I would say, really understand the character and really be true to the character when you go in for an audition because that is what is going to get you the job today. Don't try and look good. I guess look good in your skin in a way, yeah.
So I think Chalti ka naam zindagi. So for me it's like keep on going and also communicate. Since I am a communication professional, so I have to say this. So try to communicate with your audience, like any communication. It's like after the pandemic thing happened, many celebrities nowadays are still facing depression. They are still not able to combat it. And there are people who have like made a very good comeback and they are doing very well in theaters and very well in web series or whatsoever they are doing. So it's like it's just because they have maintained a very well connection with their audience throughout the pandemic. And it's all about the audience these days. It's about how you are communicating and how effectively you are communicating with your audience. That's going to make you a great actor. This is what I believe. Being an outsider, being a professional who is dealing into with communication, like people from communication background, I think that it's very crucial aspect. It's for your internal growth as well, also for your external growth. You're going out, you're meeting new people, you're communicating with them, you are learning something new. And if you are learning something new, you are obviously taking it in the back of your mind, you're always taking something good. It can be anything. It can be good. It can be bad also. But at the end, what really matters is that you are taking something from that person. So keep on communicating on social. There are so many ways of communicating these days. You can communicate on social media. You can communicate like through physical meetings or whatsoever you feel like. So for me, it's the communication is the driving factor that can make or break an actor.
Very well said. Communication. I would just want to add on to this. Not just communicate with your audience, especially learn to communicate with yourself. When you said, no, people are still in depression and they're a little frustrated and there's anxiety, insecurity, because they've stopped communicating with themselves. They've stopped listening to themselves. And the only way to do it, there is no other way, only one way, meditation. That is the only way I have seen it in the past 22 years. And मैं छाती ठोक के बोल सकता हूँ कि मैं पिछले 22 साल से I've been meditating. It has helped me through a lot of tough times. Times have not been easy. They will never be. Okay? There'll be great, there'll be lows, there'll be highs, there'll be lows. But what gets you is आपका जो दिमाग है वो कैसे स्थिर रहता है और आप कैसे जिंदगी को डील करते हो वो सबसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है और कुछ नहीं आपको हेल्प करेगा गाने momentarily you'll feel kind of cool आप vacation के लिए जाओगे you'll feel good for those few days but in the long run the only thing that helps you is spirituality meditation and that will take you beyond wherever you want to go. I mean अगर आपने ये depression को जीत लिया आपने frustration suicidal tendencies को जीत लिया the rest will follow.
Superb. I think so. It has been great communicating with you guys. As communication is the key, and we're all learning on an everyday basis. I think thank you so much, guys, for your time, for your insights, for your thought process, your personalized opinions on all the various topics we. No, I think so. I've been no, not really. The good part is that the only thing as of now common which I find between me and Karan is that I have also just completed 22 years in the industry. Thank you. Just didn't want to miss chance to take that credit here. No, jokes apart. So I just feel that do's बहुत सारे हो सकते हैं. वो list कभी भी खत्म नहीं होती because वो list evolve होती है और upgrade होती है on a daily basis. Don'ts की list कहीं ना कहीं जाके खत्म हो सकती है और don'ts की list मेरे हिसाब से या जो भी थोड़ा बहुत एक्सपीरियंस मैंने लोगों के साथ देखा है एक्टर्स के साथ देखा है टेक्नीशियन बिकॉज मैं खुद एक टेक्नीशियन हूँ वो ये है कि मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि जिस दिन आप कंपैरिजन से बाहर आ जाओगे ना उस दिन आधा प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाएगा चाहे आप फ्रेशर हो चाहे आप स्टार हो जिस दिन आप कंपेयर करना बंद कर दोगे कम कर दोगे क्योंकि वो एक बुरी आदत की तरह है वेदर यू स्मोक अ लॉट यू ड्रिंक अ लॉट वो आई डोंट बिलीव इन सेइंग मैंने 10 सिगरेट पीता था एक अभी मैं 5 पीता हूँ या तो आप पीते हो या आप नहीं पीते हो ठीक है सो अगर आप कोशिश करते हो कि मैं अपने आप को कंपेयर करना बंद कर दूँ मैं एक वेब सीरीज़ का आर्टिस्ट हूँ मैं एक फिल्म एक्टर हूँ मैं एक टीवी एक्टर हूँ ये हमने बनाया है सब कैटेगरीज देयर इज़ नो कैटेगरी एक एक्टर है उसको एक्टिंग के लिए बुलाया जाता है Yeah, go on. I think I've touched some, I've sparked
no,
some.
No. It was amazing the way your expression was. मैं एक वेब सीरीज का एक्टर हूँ, मैं एक फिल्म एक्टर हूँ, मैं एक टीवी एक्टर हूँ.
Exactly.
ऐसे क्यों कहा आपने?
मैंने इसलिए कहा क्योंकि एक फेज आया है और अभी भी है वो. I meet a lot of TV actors. I have a lot of TV actor friends. कहीं ना कहीं एक perception create हुआ है और subconsciously insecure feel करना शुरू कर दिया है.
Because they have stopped communicating with themselves.
Exactly. And they've started comparing. They've started comparing themselves.
मैं आपको एक बात बताऊं. I take pride in being a TV actor.
Same here.
I care to hoots about web series or films. मिले तो बहुत अच्छी बात. I'm an actor. And what has given me my life, my breath, my need to be, जो मैं आज हूँ, जो आज आपने मुझे यहाँ पे बुलाया है, वो टीवी की वजह से. Because मैंने सिर्फ टीवी शोज किए हैं और मुझे बहुत गर्म है. मैं ऐसे चलता हूँ. होगा तो मतलब whatever you've done, but they should understand and even you should understand whenever you say next time these these three words together. Because जब तक आप नहीं इसे बोलोगे मैं एक टीवी एक्टर हूँ, लोग भी exactly ऐसे ही सोचेंगे मैं एक टीवी एक्टर हूँ. It's not like that. You are an, like you said it, या तो मैंने छोड़ी है सिगरेट या नहीं छोड़ी है. Either you're an actor or you're not. Whether you do TV, theatre, web, movies, doesn't matter. You know? So
No, I completely agree with you. And my expression was not to put down any
no, it's come
category.
from where
I'm
you've heard it from or where you
I'm
felt
just
it.
I'm just trying to depict what people feel, and that there is no category. We've created that categories, and it's not needed actually. So just to sum this up is that there is a whole list of do's, a small list of don't. Like you said, get out of your insecurity. You said communicate. You said stay grounded, stay focused. You know, so the whole idea here is that I'm sure that after this discussion, a lot of people will take away something or the other back home, whether they are actors, professionals, technicians, any of that sort. So I would just like to again thank you so much for coming here and giving your insights and running this great panel.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you so
us
much,
here.
guys. Thank you.
Thank you for having us here.